Last week, we started this journey with the art of being all there. The key word in that phrase is it's a decision. You and I have to choose that whatever relationship we are working at and working on, that we're all in. There's no halfway in building relationships. Whether it's a business partnership, whether it's the one, the true love, your best friend, close family members, raising your kids. You have to make a decision to be all there. This week we're going to the next art that we have to master if we're going to have real relationships. I want you to understand that one does not work without the other. Because we are required, if we're going to be successful in building something, that we have to act intentionally. We got to choose to do it, and then we make a decision, and then we have to act. The Bible says the just shall live by faith. Well, let me tell you something. Faith is one of those things that is baby steps, One little step after another little step after. Well, your relationships are the same way. Relationships matter most. Now today, it's Valentine's Day. Congratulations if you made it another year. That's cool, that's wonderful. We can talk about love all you want. The power of love will be tonight when Hare teaches on that at Widener. I'm going to talk about father-son relationships today. Ooh, Valentine's weekend? Yeah, because I want to use an unnormal passage in Luke to talk about relationships. Because, let me tell you something. In 20 years, don't you want to actually have a real relationship with your kids? It's a great example because they're one of the most volatile things. So we're going to get into that. Now, as I said, this second art supports the first. The biggest surprise that I've had in my married life, and I'm now married 31 years, something like that, is just how intentional I have to be in all that I do. It's hard. You guys who've been married for a while, hard? Good description? Working at it? Maybe you're not working yet. Maybe that's why you're here this morning. Listen, my wife and I have raised, in part, 8 kids. 2 youngest, we made our own through the help of the state. Just as much intentionality is needed there. Sometimes you feel like words should be enough, don't you? Shouldn't just the phrase, I love you, encompass so much more? No. Like every time I've told Joy I love her, well, we're married. She actually did say yes at some point in time. But the reality is, you have to keep saying yes every day to your spouse throughout your whole marriage. You have to keep choosing every single day. You have to keep choosing to be engaged. You have to keep choosing to not strangle the crap out of your kids. I'm constantly reminded with my children of how intentional I have to be. The older they get, the more important I am to their lives. Let me give you the dynamic. If you are a mom, sons will be more important. Your input in their life will be more important as they get older. If you have daughters, dad will be more important. Because guess what? Guess who they will probably marry? Someone just like dad. Ooh. Isn't that a frightening thought? I have to make time for my kids. I have to look for opportunities to sit and talk, to hold their hand, to give them a hug, for them to fully understand how to have a relationship with a husband. It begins with a good relationship with a dad. If I am not intentional in my love for my kids, they will lose out on this critical aspect of life. You see, relationships are dynamic. In this that I mean, there is no neutral. There is no neutrality in a relationship. Either it is growing and prospering and thriving and getting deeper, or it is going into the, excuse the expression, toilet. It's going forward positive, or it's going in the reverse. When I was a kid, we did a lot of our vacation time at Rehoboth. I don't know about you, but if you had small kids, Rehoboth would not be the place I would go. Why? The riptide is killer. I remember every single time when you get to the beach, Mom would say, "Pay attention! It'll suck you out. Uncle Lynn, it'll drag you out. No, just, you eat sand, and the sharks will get you, and the jellyfish, and, what a mom." Anyway, But I remember the day sitting on the beach, and my little brother was on a raft, and the next thing you know, he's out there. He's a speck on the horizon, and there's a guy with a little funky, two of these guys are like on the beach talking and pointing and yelling for him, and my brother's like wailing his arms. Next thing you know, the guy in the boat is out, they're going out after him, Listen, you can't allow your relationships at any point in time to be neutral, because here's what happens. They're going to drift in the current. Culture, the way of life of our society, the media, how business is conducted in America, all of them will carry them to an unnatural extreme, something that you never planned with. We can't relax and do nothing. You're toast. If I do nothing for a day or for a week in my relationship, they're going to drift. It's not in the same place anymore. It takes a conscious, intentional choosing for those relationships to grow every day. Now, when you choose every day, it starts with your relationship with Christ. Now, we talked about this last week, and I'm going to bring it up one more time. The solution to everything is a personal relationship with Christ. Everything that you will ever do will flow out of that relationship. We had a meeting this week, Crispy and I attended, and it was a community meeting for the 5th Ward. I've lived here 10 years, and I've never had one of these meetings where everybody who was a power player, everybody who mattered, everybody from social workers to police to community politicians to principals to school district officials to guidance counselors, we're the only nonprofit clergy in the community. We're it. All of us in student leadership came to a table and said, let's honestly talk about the problems and the solutions. And as a church, we were invited into being a part of the solution. The conclusion is these kids, the troublesome kids in our neighborhood that we're trying to save, literally, have no hope. Something I couldn't bring out at the meeting that you and I both know as believers is without Christ, they have no hope. That is what we must come from, perspective. Your relationships have to come from that personal relationship with Jesus Christ.